creating successful meetings, creating quality meetings for successful clubs, things you can do to keep your program exciting and have some serious fun. Please welcome District Governor Joanne Morrison.
That District Governor herself, that has such a nice ring to it. Remember that if I'm around. I love that. That didn't get me last time. Making Rodney crazy.
I'll just back way up and you'll never see it.
Well, my very, very favorite thing and my very, very first role that I took on in a club was VP Ed. This is the heart, the key, the soul of a Toastmaster club. It is the best thing you can do in a club. President, administrator, no fun at all. But I loved doing that because immediately I had a vision. Immediately I knew what to do. And then I read the manual and I had even more behind me. And the club I belonged to was pretty good, but I could see room. I could see room for improvement. I knew what else we could be doing. I just knew it in my heart. And so I volunteered to be VP Ed and somebody else got elected. I was so mad at me. She's not even Toastmasters anymore. No stick-to-itiveness. Anyway, and when she left the club a few months later, and I didn't do anything, when she left the club, I got to be the VP Ed because so obviously by then I'd been in the club for 6 months and I knew some of the things I could do and I knew that I did have that vision. And the vision is to plan. Now, I am not a plan ahead kind of person. I'm a kind of go by the seat of my pants kind of person most of the time. But I knew that if we had some ideas ahead, and I have a big enough ego that I thought I could inflict that on people, my ideas of what would make a good meeting. So what I did is I looked at, and this is the paper here, I looked at each month in Toastmasters as a session. And each session should have an educational evening or morning, whenever your club is. It should have 2 regular club meetings so that you don't mix the new people up too much by having too many changes. And then there's always some Toastmaster thing you have to do. Like maybe it's your election, or you have some other business to do, or you've got a contest to have. So all of those things you have to do during the year, and other Toastmaster things, events. So basically during the month you have 2 events, a Toastmaster type training and then an event, and then your regular meetings. And that was the way I built each month. And so that way you had a variety. And then if you take that, and when I started out I did this for 6 months. But later on I thought, you know, why not just line up all the themes for the whole year? Nothing's in stone. And if people want to go ahead and be inflicted by what I want them to do, good. And if they don't want to and they have another idea, what'll we dump? That's okay. It doesn't matter. It's not that important. And if you're thinking, well, now if I go to my club and I say to them, this is what we're going to do, what are they going to say? You think, well, some will. Exactly. So here's how I learned to handle that. I was in parenting groups, and I got these new ideas about listening skills or parenting skills, and I would come home, and again with the ego, I would inflict them on my children or my husband, whoever happened to be the handiest and whoever seemed to be the best candidate at the time for my particular project. And they would react like, oh my gosh, there she goes again. So what I learned to do is to tell them ahead. Today, when I was at my training, I learned this about listening, and I feel I would like to become a better listener. And because you're here in my family, and I know you want to support me, I'm going to inflict these things upon you, and you can help me with that. They know. They've been forewarned. Forewarned is forearmed. It works. People just don't like to always be surprised and to be taken away or railroaded from what their ideas are or what's normal or average. They need time to catch up. So that's what I found. I would be thinking about something, reading a book, improving myself for a week or a month, and suddenly it would click in, and now was my time to move forward, but I didn't So warning people is important. And if there are people who are used to doing the same things the same way and they know it's the right way, then introduce it and vote and see what the reaction is. Well, could we just try 1 month? Right? So break it down for people so they understand. But basically, and this I learned from Dr. Laura, if you're cheerful and stupid, they will just go along. Sure. Because when I started Toastmasters, I was so naive, I was so cheerful, I was so much from my heart, they didn't have the heart to tell me no. And that's the truth. That's the truth. And so, but that really kind of works too. If you're really enthusiastic and passionate and you know in your heart of hearts something will work, believe in yourself. That is so important, to just believe that what you think is right is quite possibly right. Try it. It's okay. It's okay to try those things. So that's my one idea. Themes for the whole year, all lined up for you, ready to go. And if you don't like them, change them, because that's fine. Some of them I matched with events during the year that happen, not like Christmas or Valentine's Day. And everybody has those Valentine's Day themes. Well, find a different twist on it. Make it more interesting than that. And the good thing about having those themes ahead of time all lined up, there's going to be somebody in your club who's just dying to do one of those themes. And they can sign up like a month ahead of time, 2 months ahead of time, and they'll be so keen, and their head will be so ready for it, and so will other people in the club. They'll be looking forward to what this person's going to do with that theme. That the meetings really will be much perkier. Because what do we sell in Toastmasters? Self-confidence. Meetings. When people come in, what do they see? You know, if you go into a store, you see blouses and shirts and shoes and vacuums and mattresses. You see things. When they come into our club, what they see and what they hear, what they feel is our meetings. So we are selling meetings. If your meetings are lousy, people will be bored and they'll leave, or people won't stay. If you're disorganized, the meeting is what we sell, and it's the key to everything. So what happens when you've got 4 people in the room, or 5 or 6 people in the room? What happens?
You need to find energy somewhere.
You need to get energy somewhere. So what you do is you come in and you go, oh my gosh, there's only 5 of us today. There's only 4 of us today. There's only 6 of us today. And you feel kind of down. You have a good meeting anyway. You just go forward as though the room was full. And this is a great thing you can learn at Toastmasters. When you're not sure if something's working right, believe it anyway. Do it anyway. Because when you have the right, crisp meeting, what will happen is people will, if they come, they'll say, this is a good place to be. And they will come and they will join you and they will stay. You had a comment, Dorothy?
Joanne, I'm so with you on what you're saying.
Yeah.
And one of the things I find is a real killer
Yeah.
is when you have the Toastmaster or someone who's in charge of the meeting stands up and says, well, normally we have more people than this. I don't know what happened here today. And it's like, whack. You know, the guests don't know this, right? They're coming in, they don't know this. I mean, so you run with the ball and you make it, like you say, you just make it the best ever.
And that's why when I go to any group at work or wherever I am, and I'm just enthusiastic, people say, how can you stay so enthusiastic when we're so slow at work? I said, well, what will happen if I'm not? So I kid around even more with people because I have more time to do that when we're slow at work. I have more time. I have more time to do that. And if I can engage people, I work at Sears. If I can engage people and make them come back, they're going to